Cellular respiration is a metabolic pathway that breaks down the glucose or other organic molecules to generate adenosine triphosphate or ATP for short, the main energy currency used by cells. This process is essential for all living organisms as it provides the energy to power cellular activities such as movement, growth, and reproduction. This report defined the cellular respiration, a fundamental process in biology. Cellular respiration is essential for all living organisms. In summary, cellular respiration is the process by which cells convert biochemical energy from nutrients into ATP and then release waste product. Mitochondria, often referred to as the powerhouse of the cell, are the double membrane bound organelles found in the cytoplasm of eukaryotic cells. Their primary function is to generate adenosine triphosphate or ATP, the main energy currency of the cell through a series of biochemical reactions. In summary, cellular respiration primarily occurs in the mitochondria, where the breakdown of glucose and other nutrients drives ATP synthesis, providing the energy required for cellular function.
Two types of cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is the process by which cells break down glucose to release energy in the form of ATP. There are two types of cellular respiration: aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. These two mainly differ in whether oxygen is used or not, and in how much energy they produce. Aerobic respiration happens in the presence of oxygen. Cells use oxygen to completely break down glucose into carbon dioxide and water. This process produces a large amount of ATP, which is the main source of energy for cells because it's very efficient. Aerobic respiration is the most common type of respiration in humans, animals, and even plants. For example, when we are at rest or doing light activities like walking, our body mostly uses aerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration, on the other hand, happens without oxygen. It is less efficient, meaning it only produces a small amount of ATP from each glucose molecule. Organisms rely on anaerobic respiration when oxygen is not available, like in deep soil, waterlogged areas, or even in our muscles during intense activities such as sprinting. That's why, after heavy exercise, we sometimes feel muscle pain. We sometimes feel muscle pain. We sometimes feel muscle pain. It's due to lactic acid, a byproduct of anaerobic respiration. So in short, aerobic respiration uses oxygen, produces more ATP, very efficient. Anaerobic respiration does not use oxygen, produces less ATP, less efficient, but useful when oxygen is limited. Both processes are important because they allow living things to adapt and survive in different conditions.
Glycolysis is a metabolic pathway that breaks down a molecule of glucose into two molecules of fibrate. This series of 10 enzyme capillary reaction occurs in the cytoplasm of virtually all organisms and is the first step of cellular respiration. The process can proceed with or without oxygen. So, amo ni ang unang ito sa cellular respiratory. Kung high ng glucose asukal kay gitunga dito upang makalikha ng enerhiya lahi pa ng mga produkto. Sa technical na pag-uusap, ginagamit sa ang salitang glycolysis sa Tagalog dahil ito ay isang siyentipikong term.
This is Krebs cycle. Most organisms use glucose as major fuel source, but must break down this glucose and store the energy in ATP and other molecules. The Krebs cycle is contained within mitochondria. Within the mitochondria matrix, the reactions of the Krebs cycle adds electrons and protons to a number of electron carriers, which are then used by the electron transport chain to produce ATP. In this diagram, this is called educational diagram. It is explaining the Krebs cycle. It is a key to process cellular respiration that occurs in the mitochondria. It shows how glucose is broken down to produce energy in the form of ATP, NADH, FADH2, and GTP. The cycle starts with acetyl CoA combining with the oxaloacetate to form citrate. And through a series of reactions, CO2 is released. Energy carriers are generated, and oxaloacetate is regenerated to continue cycle.
So, good day. So, the next topic we're talking about is the electron transport chain and the ATP production. So, first is the electron transport chain, which means an electron transport chain or ETC is a series of protein complexes and other molecules which transfer electron from electron donors to electron acceptors by a redox reaction. So, both reduction and oxidation is occurring simultaneously and couples this electron transfer with the transfer of protons, H positive ions across a membrane. So many of the enzymes and electron transport chain are embedded in the membrane, which means that the electron transport chain or ETC is the final step of circular respiration found in mitochondria. It transfers electron from NADH and FADH2 to oxygen, pumping protons across a membrane. This creates energy used by ATP synthase to make ATP. So, like for example, when glucose is broken down, the ECT uses oxygen to produce water and around 34 ATP for cell energy. So, which means that the electron transport chain or ETC works by passing electron from a higher energy donors to a lower energy acceptors. Through redox reaction, an electron moves, energy is released due to the difference of Krebs free energy. So, this energy is used to pump ion across the membrane, creating an electrochemical gradient. So, ATP synthase then uses the gradients to make ATP through oxidative phosphorylation. Like for example, in a circular respiration, so electrons from NADH travels through the ATC in a mitochondria. So the energy released pumps proton H positive into intermembrane space. As these protons flow back through ATP synthase, so this is where ATP is produced. So if an electron transport change, a redox reaction are driven by the difference of Krebs free energy of reactants and products. So the free energy released when a higher energy electrons, donors, and acceptors convert to a lower energy product. So while electrons are transformed or transferred from a lower energy to a higher redox potential, so is used by the complexes in the electron transport chains to create electrochemical gradients of ions. So it is electrochemical gradients that drives the synthesis of ATP via coupling the oxidative and phosphorylation with ATP synthase, ATP production to a aerobic respiration. So first is circulation respiration, glycolysis, energy molecules produced 2 ATP, 2 NADH. So the totals of ATP is 2 ATP and 4 to 6 ATP. Then oxidative decarbosylation, 2 NADH. So the total of ATP is 6 ATP. Then Krebs cycle, 6 NADH, totals of 18 ATP. Then 2 if ADH2, totals of 4 ATP. Then the 2 ATP is the total of ATP. All of them combined is 6 to 38 ATPs.
So this is the overview of cellular respiration. Pinakauna is the glycolysis. Ito, the first stage of the aerobic pathway. So may 6 molecules of glucose break down into 2 pyruvates. Sa glycolysis is di na 2 pyruvates ang iya ma-produce. Kaya sa mag-produce niya na 2 ATPs and 2 ADP. ATP means adenosine triphosphate and ADP means adenosine diphosphate. And then itong pyruvate is magamit sa Krebs cycle. So, second on the stage is the Krebs cycle, also known as citric acid cycle. So, ito is start with end product of glycolysis. Diba ang end product ng glycolysis is the 2 pyruvates. Ang 2 pyruvates is involve a series of enzymes controlled process that occur inside the matrix. Mahitabo ang Krebs cycle sa matrix inside the mitochondria. So, di ba, susunod ng mitochondria ang matrix. So, pyruvates converted into 2 carbon acetyl molecules nga ma-convert ang itong 2 pyruvates ug makaproduce siya ng nito FADH2 means flavin adenine dinucleotide. Tapos oxidized form na siya kay may hydrogen, di ba may H og 2 nga sa baba, right? So the last stage of the aerobic pathway is the electron transport chain. Electrons form NADH and FADH2 are passed throughout the proton gradient that drives ATP. So, nga sa electron transport chain is damo na ang ma-produce ng ATP. There are a total of 32 ATPs ang ma-produce niya. Pero back sa glycolysis is ang produce na niya is 2 ATP and 2 ADP. And then sa Krebs cycle is 2 ATP sa ma-produce niya. So gagmay da. Sa electron transport chain is natugid ang damo na ma-produce na ATP.